I take all myself. Okay. Yes, cool. Get in there. Call me. Oh,
everybody
here.
just bring a foot up.
Well, you're going then. Hang on. No problem. Did you?
Which side?
Test 1 2, check, check, check. Provincial Xcel Series. Ontario Soccer taking on Quebec Soccer. Soccer Quebec as we get set for game number 2 of the under 15 girls series here between Ontario and Quebec.
Camera, shutter eye, Charlie. One day you'll fire.
All right, fans, let's welcome you in to today's highly anticipated 2024 Ontario Soccer Provincial Xcel Under 15 girls match between the Ontario Soccer Squad and Soccer Quebec, as Soccer Quebec will wear the white kits kicking off today's match, working left to right across your screen. Ontario Soccer in the black and red kits, and we are just moments away from the opening kickoff, and we are thrilled to bring you live coverage of this prestigious competition. And here we go. Let's welcome you in as Soccer Quebec kick us off, and they'll work the ball through the back line here as they'll hold possession out to the near side flank, where it's controlled by Visioli. She touches that one forward. Nice control by Julia Yu as she plays it along the line, and eventually it tracks out for an Ontario throw. Nice work here through the midfield by Team Ontario, as crossing that into the penalty area and knocked down by the defender, where now Herrera comes up with it. She tries to return it back the way of Tesfaye, but that's broken up. Nice job by the Quebec defensive back in Bru, and now a battle through midfield as Team Ontario take possession through their back line. Well, Toronto FC is the official founding premier partner of Ontario Soccer, as well as the co-presenting partner for the Ontario Player Development League, the province's youth high-performance program. Their commitment to the game in Ontario is unrivaled. Visit torontofc.com for tickets and more. As we've got a number of great partners on hand for today's match, helping make our broadcast possible. And as Ontario work the ball through their back line, it's now controlled by the center back as Lanzalota plays it to the near flank. Cesarba, she takes it, quick touch back. As looking for movement up the pitch, Thurton decides to draw it back. And now played forward intended there for Lanzalota, controlled by Tesfaye. She moves the ball out to the near flank. Running onto it, Cesarba, she crosses that in. A little too much power, and then met by the defensive foot of Soccer Quebec's player, and I believe that's Pire who's out there, and she now works it outside her own penalty area. It's turned over through the middle where Lanzalota takes it for Ontario. Quick touch to the near flank, Cesarba checks her options. Tesfaye tries to turn on the defender, closed down. Nice work there by the back line for Soccer Quebec, as now it's controlled by Caron. Caron touches back. Nice work by Christ-Marion Brou, as now it's played forward through the center circle where Caron draws back, turned over. Now Ontario looking for a quick counterattack as Herrera tries to punch that back towards Tesfaye, but dealt with nicely by the defensive effort, and now the teams battle for it as it's controlled here. Topping tries to tee one up. That's blocked fearlessly. Loose ball touched forward there by Abigail White. Isabel Lanzalota, she touches out as controlling along the flank with a quick play at Cesarba. She tries to get it back from Tesfaye, but nicely dealt with by Chiara Visioli for Soccer Quebec on the back line. Now she touches over to Brou as she goes all the way back to her keeper, Forcier. Two keepers starting in this match, Beatrice Forcier for Soccer Quebec, and for Ontario Soccer, it's Kaylee Rye. As that ball out along the far touchline, and it'll be a throw-in for Soccer Quebec in white. So they'll try and move on to the attacking side of half here. As played up from the throw-in, and it'll be controlled here by the defensive effort from D'Angelo. She goes back to her keeper, Rye. And now it's controlled by Thurton. Tessa Thurton carries it forward. She's got time and space, tries to push it through the middle. That's intercepted though. Nice work through the midfield. Soccer Quebec move it, slipping on the ball, but quickly popping back up to make the play. And ultimately the pass picked off there from Auriel Chanel, but in transition, Ontario Soccer tries to send a player up the far flank. That was Talia Arid-Greaves. She's fouled, and a free kick to come for Ontario Soccer. So this will be an opportunity from a set piece here in the 5th minute of play. And good pace early on in this match, as it's going to be Olivia Topping standing over the ball to take the free kick. It's from that angle where you could go directly on target, or maybe whip in across. About 6 bodies in the area for Ontario Soccer to try get something on a potential cross here. Topping plays it in directly into the 2-player wall. The subsequent ball knocked away by a defender. That's tracking out for a corner, but Brou gets there first, and with a calm presence, she touches off to a teammate. Now up the wing, it's controlled by Visioli. Closed down, she has to battle 3 Ontario players, but well done by Visioli to clear the immediate danger. Both teams trying to secure possession now. Julia Yu comes up with it, as Quebec with some quick touches ultimately turned over as Lanzalota closed it down. Battling for it now and taking it is Cardoso. Samantha Cardoso plays it back to Thurton, who touches to the near wing now for Cesarba. Nice little 1-2. Cesarba had it back, but poor first touch caused her to turn it over, and now controlled by Elizabeth Prou for Soccer Quebec. Touched out wide. Nice interception there as Aird Greaves comes up with it. She makes the touch on, controlled here by Herrera. Herrera tries to play it in, appeals for a handball, but nothing doing as Aird Greaves crosses that low, but Bru there for the defensive interception. Nice presence under pressure there from the back line for Soccer Quebec. They didn't break under pressure, and now they have the ball out, looking to push onto the attacking side of half. Through the center circle, touched over to Yu. Her heavy first touch causes it to skid away, and now controlled by Ontario Soccer as their three-player backline starts to build out. Thurton makes the pass to Cezerba. That one intended, but broken up nicely as Yu services that one forward. It's broken up. The original pass there meant for Tesfaye. As now Ontario Soccer control through the midfield with Cardoso in possession. Cardoso sends a good ball forward. Running onto it is Tapping. Tapping trying to take on the defender. Nice slide tackle, but Tapping comes away with it. She's got to make a play. Crosses in. Oh, what a save! Point blank range. Tremendous stop by Soccer Quebec's Beatrice Forcier as she turned away what should have been an opening goal there. What a chance for Sophie Herrera, but a much better save from Forcier. So first quality opportunity of the match comes here in the 8th minute, and it falls to the home squad in Ontario Soccer. They start to build up again. Up the flank, Cezerba carries it, closed down by the defender, touches ahead, but Bru gets to it as under pressure. She toes the line, knocks it off of Herrera, and out for a Soccer Quebec throw. Pismaron Bru patrolling that backline for Soccer Quebec, and she's already had a mark on this match with her strong defensive play, and it's going to be tough for the Ontario attackers to get by her today. Nice work on the throw-in, controlled here by Riel. Under pressure, she makes the pass. There's a good ball. Running onto it now is Malian Caron. Caron volleys that one forward towards the penalty area. Thurton has time to bring it down. Thurton. Her pass intercepted. Nice step up by Chapados as charging forward defensively is Thurton, and she comes away with it. Strong defensive play there as now she chips one forward, headed down by the defensive effort of Brule. And now Soccer Quebec try to patrol as they switch over to the far flank. Back into the middle as trying to take that down was Sylvain Piré, but it's controlled here by Ontario Soccer's Abigail White. White goes back to her keeper, Rai. These two teams squared off yesterday. Ontario Soccer scoring the win in that opening match of this best-of-3 series. Here in the under-15 girls division. Nice ball played forward as Aird Greaves had it get away from her, and now played back by Chanel. Good touch there by Caron to find a midfielder in open space. Working their way now. There's a good ball ahead for Charon, but a bit of miscommunication in the end. Easy grab for the keeper, Rai, who didn't want to come off her line initially, but Stefania D'Angelo convinces her to charge out and take it. Cardoso turns, looks for an option up the flank, drops it here as White goes back to Thurton into the middle. Lanzalota, she got closed down quickly by you, but Ontario Soccer hold possession here. White, Thurton, D'Angelo. Lanzalota tries to turn on you. Touches, good ball there as Aid Greaves will have an opportunity to make a play. The defender, Chapados, tries to contain her, but Aid Greaves gets away from her, tries to carry into the penalty area. Nice defensive tackle there by Elizabeth Prue, knocking it out for a corner. So Ontario Soccer will set up for the corner kick in the far corner as we're coming to you live from the Zankin Automotive Soccer Center Stadium Field. First of two broadcasts on the day. Playing two 40-minute halves As the corner kick to be taken here by Samantha Cardoso, setting up for an outswinger. Cardoso takes a bounce. Aid Greaves tries to swipe at it. There she gets a foot to it, off the bar and out for a corner. Well, Forcier must have got a piece of it.
Natalia.
And a great save.
Abby, switch with her.
As off the keeper's hand, the bar, and then out for a corner. So Ontario Soccer generating a couple of good scoring chances here inside the opening 12 minutes. Cardoso to take this corner again. After that last one proved threatening, and now she sets up for an in-swinger. Samantha Cardoso delivers it to the near post. A defender there in U. She tries to keep it in, but it's out for another corner. So Samantha Cardoso will try again here.
Sam!
As once again, an in-swinger coming. She delivers a cross of more substance, but U there once again for steady defensive work. And now Thurton at the half drops it over to Cardoso. Cardoso, quick touch. Cesarba, she checks her options into the middle. Nice job by Tesfaye as she dropped it back. D'Angelo picks out Cardoso, but closed down immediately by U. Ontario Soccer get it back. Here goes D'Angelo carrying into space. Good stop on that. Blocked by Brew, but Ontario have it once again. Thurton, she opts to switch out wide. Closed down is White. She goes back to Thurton under pressure here as Caron supplying that pressure. And this could be a turnover as Soccer Quebec try to take possession, and they do, only momentarily. Now U comes up with it. First touch gets away from her, and now it's controlled by Thurton for Ontario. She steps into space. Quick touch over to Cardoso. Evades the first tackle, loses it on the second attempt, and that'll ultimately track out for an Ontario Soccer throw-in. As we're here in the 14th minute of action. And so far, a scoreless draw between Ontario Soccer and Soccer Quebec here at the 2024 Provincial Xcel Series. Game number 2 of 3 on the weekend here in the Under-15 Girls Division. Some of our great partners include Toronto FC, the Canadian Premier League, O'Neill Sportswear, and Gatorade. And we'll get to a few more reads throughout the broadcast, but back to the action on the pitch as colliding and coming away with it is Olivia Tapping. She spins her way past a couple of would-be tacklers. Tapping her pass, though, unable to pick out the player wide, and now it's controlled by Soccer Quebec as they'll go back to the keeper here, and Forcier, quick touch over to Prue. Prue goes wide. Chapados tries to play that one. Running onto it is Caron, but she comes from an offside position. Referee is yet to spot the flag, but now the whistle blown as Caron is step ahead of the pass, and ultimately an offside called here, and a free kick to come for Ontario Soccer. But nice idea from Soccer Quebec trying to spring that quick counter-attacking threat. As Lanzalotta restarts the action. White, quick touch into the middle. Cardoso with a player on her back. Does well to hold possession, and now Thurton plays it over to Cesarba. Cesarba baits the defender in. Nice job here by Tesfaye to work the line. She tracks back as now she plays over to Cardoso. Quick touch as supplying pressure, nearly coming away with it there is Sylvain Piré, as that back pass a little spicy, but Rai able to hold it and contain it without any damage coming from that ball from Thurton. So Thurton carries ahead now and turned over. Nice tackle there by Riel, but Thurton gets it back. Riel chasing her down. Thurton up the line. Brew gets to it first for Soccer Quebec as she touches and tries to go back for the keeper, but didn't have the angle, and it's out for a corner kick. So Ontario Soccer will get their 4th corner here early in the match, 16th minute. Actually, I guess we're approaching the halfway part of the first half with 2 40-minute halves here. And the bulk of the chances so far falling for the home squad as Samantha Cardoso sets up for the corner kick, preparing to deliver an in-swinger. Good, powerful cross there. Drops into the feet of actually, check that. That's D'Angelo, the center back who pushed up, but she couldn't make an offensive play inside the penalty area. And now along the far flank, Tesfaye turns it over, and Soccer Quebec looking for a counterattack with Caron, but that's broken up by White. Quick touch ahead, as running onto that is Aird Greaves. She crosses, that one catching a bit of wind, and it tracked to the far post. It's knocked around and eventually cleared away. Nice work by Yu for Soccer Quebec to clear the danger. Julia Yu has had a strong first half in the midfield for Soccer Quebec. She's been a calming presence for sure and sound defensively. And she'll try close down the ball carrier now in Olivia Tapping. Tapping's pass intercepted. Nice work as Soccer Quebec nearly turn it over with Tesfaye supplying the pressure, but good job by Visioli to get her way out of that situation. And now the ball being run onto here in a good battle, but in the end out for an Ontario throw, as giving chase was Riel for Soccer Quebec. And it was Cesarba for Ontario Soccer who played the throw in back. Thurton, D'Angelo looking out wide. She returns to the near side where Thurton touches even further wide for Cesarba. She's closed down, but her ball will be defended well. Nice play by Tesfaye to block the clearance, and now she comes away with it. The pass just a stride ahead of Herrera, who couldn't catch it. And now Cesarba tries to hold possession here for Ontario Soccer. Cesarba, she'll shield that one straight out, and in the 18th minute, Cesarba will take the throw. Knocked forward, Caron's going to come away with it here. She's got room to operate, but closed down closely, and a second defender coming in Lanzalota, but it's a throw for Soccer Quebec. The initial defensive presence there in Tessa Thurton, who's played well on the back line here in the opening half. Good speed shown there by Malian Caron, as she's proving to be an attacking threat today for Soccer Quebec. They'll take the throw deep in the attacking third. Trying to flick on there is Degg. Degg continuing to battle for it. Caron, left-footed attempt, as it was really pushed more towards the top of the six. No one able to get a touch on it. And now on a counterattack, here goes Aid Greaves for Ontario Soccer. Draws back inside to try shake the defender. Her pass picked off by Julia Yu, who then has her pass intercepted by Lanzalota. Controlled now by White. Back to Lanzalota. That one's intercepted. Soccer Quebec trying to push their way forward with Degg supplying that ball. Caron realizing she's not going to get to it ahead of the keeper, as Rye at the top of her penalty area initially controlled it outside the area and then brought it back in. And now Ontario Soccer building out from their back line. Lanzalota doesn't like what she sees up the far flank, so she pulls it near side, and Thurton will take the space in front of her. Thurton, she has the option out wide, but opts to push ahead. Tesfaye didn't realize she was the intended target and never really started running on it. And now it's controlled by Visioli, who tries to knock it through Tesfaye. Controlled nicely there by Riel. Closed down was Degg, and Ontario come away with it. Tesfaye crosses into the middle, but stepping up with that defensive clearance was Pruel. Actually, check that. That was Chapados who stepped up, and now Thurton plays over to White. White getting closed down. She draws into the middle. Doesn't like what she sees in front of her, so draws back for Thurton. Thurton trying to urge Cesarba up the near flank. She never really goes, but Tesfaye provides a good option through the middle. Fighting off the first tackle. Second attempt headed away, and now Yu tries to clear it. Picked up by Olivia Tapping, but her shot attempt off the defender, and in the end a calm save for Forcier. Forcier will bowl that one out as Elizabeth Pruel plays it over to Chapados. She tries to work the far flank, does well to keep it in, and a battle up across the half line where coming up with it is Abigail White. Kaylee Rye, the keeper for Ontario Soccer, Plays it over to Tessa Thurton. Thurton's pass picked off. This could be a break for Soccer Quebec, is carrying it forward. Dag, she tries to pass over to Caron. Maybe should have been a little more selfish there, but in the end defended relatively well by Ontario. After the initial turnover, it was closed down nicely by D'Angelo as she was right on top of Caron. And what could have been a good scoring opportunity for Soccer Quebec never really materialized. They'll have a chance to brew something up here, though, with a throw-in in the attacking side of half, right in front of the Ontario bench. As Chiara Visioli tosses up the line, Cesarba knocks it out, and we'll do it all over again. 22nd minute of action. Still waiting that breakthrough tally, is defended well by Tesfaye, but her lead pass too heavy, and a foul committed there on the tackle as Sylvain Piré draws the foul, and it'll be a free kick for Soccer Quebec. Now the wind pushing straight forward here. I mean, they're going to have the advantage of the wind on this free kick as it blows left to right across your screen, so you wouldn't normally expect an attempt on target from this range, but it's a fairly strong wind. If it catches, this could be a threat. Prue delivers the right-footed ball into the penalty area, headed away. Good attempt there, but nicely defended by D'Angelo. Prue running on to shield the ball out. A lot of contact there, and in the end, a free kick awarded to Ontario Soccer. As it was a tough battle along the far flank. And I believe we have a caution there.
Did you get the number?
It's going to be a caution to Christ Marion Prue, as she was the player who went in and made that challenge. And we'll restart with the free kick. D'Angelo playing it back to White, who took the kick. Nice little 1-2 with Cardoso. Cardoso gets it back here. Turning into the middle. She's closed down. Nice tackle. Coming away with it is Sylvain Piré. She makes the pass over to Caron. Caron controls as Uriel switches back to the far flank. Running onto it there is Chanel. Chanel trying to get it back from White, but she had a handful of jersey, and the referee makes that call, and it'll be a free kick for Ontario. Cardoso, D'Angelo, back to the keeper, Rye. Thurton, she's got time and space in front of her, and she'll start to dribble it forward. Thurton cuts back into the middle. Caron closing her down, but it's dished off to D'Angelo. Lanzalotta doesn't turn initially. She drops it back for D'Angelo, and now she'll face forward looking for an option up the pitch. Lanzalotta's ball. Nice effort there defensively, is getting low was Chapados to keep it away from Aid Greaves. And now it's back with Forcier, the keeper for Soccer Quebec. She had that phenomenal save early in the match, really set the tone. And while Ontario have had a couple of chances since, certainly nothing that threatening since that big early goal line save. She can't control it. This is a turnover as Tesfaye with the shot from range, but a little too much power on it, and it's out for a goal kick. So Forcier will restart with the goal kick here in the 25th minute. Under pressure, stepping up Cesare, but she'll one-time it. Oh, she had time, she had space, and maybe rushed that chance. And in the end, Anna Cesarba playing it out, and it'll be a goal kick.
Shift that way! Get Soph that way!
Played short again from the goal kick as Ontario come away with it now. Tesfaye. Aid Greaves as she tries to play the right-footed ball on net, and Forsay making the relatively easy save that time. Rolled out, Brew stepping past the defender. We got to lower that field, Mike. We're just getting way too much off that. No, great job by all the coaches, as a nice touch there by the defender in D'Angelo.
You take one center back, she takes the other.
As we're getting the voice of Ontario coach Miranda Wiley coming loud and strong. But you know what? That wind is playing a factor. It's probably really tough for the players on the far side of the pitch to hear those instructions. As Soccer Quebec move it in from the throw in the attacking third. Crossed in by Thurton, knocked away, and now the danger cleared. As Yu tries to close down the ball carrier. Nice job by Yu to strip it away from tapping. Great work by Julia Yu. Prue takes it as she checks her options along the far flank. Oh, that pass picked off, and here goes Aird Greaves. Aird Greaves tracking into the penalty area. Thought about maybe teeing up a shot, but that little bit of hesitation allowed Prue to close her down and make the defensive play. Ontario still holding possession. Aird Greaves working just outside the far line of the penalty area. Crosses that one in, brought down by Herrera, but she couldn't turn and get a quality shot away. And now a foot race ensues as Caron closing down on D'Angelo, but getting to it just before the speedy threat for Soccer Quebec. And now the keeper, Rye, will play that one out. Thurton. Nice ball by Thurton, as Cesarba's going to have an opportunity to run onto this. She's closed down, but Cesarba making the initial play as Tesfaye. Little 1-2, Cesarba able to stay onside there. Brew has it go off her foot, but she'll quickly get possession back before playing it out for an Ontario throw.
Lady, you want to get one before half, okay? Let's increase the urgency here.
So we approach the final 10 minutes of the first half, as we're still awaiting the opening tally here in this under 15 girls match between Ontario Soccer and Soccer Quebec, as you're tuned in to the 2024 Provincial Xcel Series. Good effort by Topping, but it's wrestled away. Nice work defensively by Soccer Quebec, as trying to play that out wide was Pire, and ultimately a free kick here for Soccer Quebec. So Elizabeth Prue takes the free kick, playing it out wide to Rachel Chapados. She crosses that one in, knocked down and controlled by Cardoso as a quick touch. But good job by Chapados to step into that. Pressing onto it was Maeva Sylvain Pire, and it's out for a Soccer Quebec corner. So the corner to come, setting up for an in-swinger. And a good cross delivered in. This could be a threat. It drops into the 6. Caron with the left-footed attempt, and that goes out for a goal kick. Well, first really quality opportunity of the match there for Soccer Quebec, coming off the corner kick. A nice cross delivered in by Riel. And after it bounced around a little, it fell onto the foot of Malian Caron, and she just missed with that left-footed opportunity. From the goal kick, Cesarba just able to keep that one in. As Brew takes it now for Soccer Quebec. Caron back into the middle as Sylvain Pire. She's dispossessed, and it's controlled by Tapping. Aird Greaves, she can't come away with it. Nice touch there by Chanel. Caron trying to run on to that, but it's too heavy, and that'll track out for a goal kick.
finally reached over and went, hey.
From the goal kick, Ontario Soccer keep it in possession and try to work up the far flank now with Aird Greaves. Touching ahead, battling for it. Julia Yu able to make the play there on Olivia Topping. Both teams trying to control it here, as drawing it is Ariel Chanel. Chanel losing her footing, still battling, but now Cardoso comes away with it. Thurton takes the space in front of her, draws two defenders in, but the pass intercepted. Tesfaye, nice ball ahead intended for Herrera. As Brew making the defensive play for Soccer Quebec, and ultimately it's out for an Ontario Soccer throw-in.
You're creating space for them to counter it. If you're going to bypass, you have to hustle to get up, okay?
From the throw, controlled by Topping. Into the middle, Cardoso, she's closed down immediately. Touches over to White. Abigail White trying to take the space. Aird Greaves comes up with it, looking to whip something in, but she's stood up by Chapados, gets around her, draws the cross, but Prue there for the initial block. Aird Greaves with the tackle. That's going to be a foul and a free kick for Soccer Quebec. Forcier takes the free kick, headed down by Aird Greaves. 34th minute of action as the ball played forward. Controlled by Lanzalotta. She drops back for third. D'Angelo. Cardoso. Nice touch over to White. White draws back for Cardoso as Ontario Soccer start to inch their way up the pitch here with presence and control. As Cesarba draws the defender in, trying to chase her down now was Riel, loses her footing. Cesarba draws the cross in. Aird Greaves challenging that block, or that clearance with a block. Tesfaye holding control. Tapping, closed down nicely there by Chanel. Tapping still with it, and now Chapados takes it for Soccer Quebec. So once again for Soccer Quebec, they take on the pressure but able to stand strong defensively, and they hold the charge from Ontario Soccer. As Abigail White tries to start up another attack here. Cardoso to Lanzalotta. Nice chip over to Aird Greaves. She controls. Defended beautifully that time by Chapados, and then a foul committed by Aird Greaves. And she's going to receive a warning here from the official, but escape without caution. So Elizabeth Prue will take the free kick here for Soccer Quebec. And ball played forward, running onto it, but it's going to be the keeper Rye taking control. We'll take this opportunity to remind you that today's Ontario-Quebec series is fueled by Gatorade. With a proven blend of carbs and electrolytes, Gatorade is scientifically formulated so you never stop competing. Ontario Soccer controlling it here with Lanzalotta. She draws back for D'Angelo. Returns it to Lanzalotta. Picked away by Caron. Nice job there. As Caron trying to dish a pass off, but it's broken up. And now here goes Tapping for Ontario Soccer. She's caught from behind, but nothing doing as Soccer Quebec trying to create a counterattack. And in the end, the pass intercepted by D'Angelo. Thurton. Lanzalotta. Final 5 minutes of the first half plus any added time as White plays it up the far flank. Aaron Greaves tries to turn on the defender. Nice last-ditch effort by Chapados to contain the threat in Aaron Greaves, and it's out for a Soccer Quebec throw-in. Rachel Chapados has played well along that far flank for Soccer Quebec today. But here go Ontario Soccer with Tapping. Tapping trying to charge on Proulx. Nice slide tackle by Proulx. Tapping still with it. Crosses. Brew gets to it. Knocked down by Yu, and she does well not to concede the corner. Giving up the throw-in. But under pressure once again, Soccer Quebec holds strong. Abigail White takes the throw. Knocked down there by Chanel. Return to White. Tapping. Looking to cross one in to the far post, but that one over the head of Tesfaye. She'll track it down here. Tesfaye. Cesarba crosses in, intended for Herrera. Cleared out, and now Caron will take possession for Soccer Quebec. Caron dropping it. Riel into the middle as Sylvain Piré closed down and taken away by Cardoso, who shoves her. And Ontario Soccer have an advantage here, trying to break away behind the play. The Soccer Quebec players still down. And now the referee will blow the whistle here to ensure that Maeva Sylvain Piré is okay after that physical exchange. Cardoso giving her the stiff arm initially to try shake the tackle, but Sylvain Piré taking the worst of it, and hopefully she's okay and able to return to action as she gets checked out by the training staff. Good crowd on hand here at the Zankin Automotive Soccer Center Stadium, as it looks like Soccer Quebec are going to be forced to make a substitution here. As the trainer indicating that Sylvain Piré unable to continue here, as she seems to be holding her head, and hopefully nothing serious. Got to be extra cautious with any head injuries. As a round of applause shown in appreciation for Sylvain Piré, who will be subbed out of this match here in the 39th minute. So it'll be Charlotte Baptista coming in to replace the injured Sylvain Piré. And we certainly hope that she's okay to get back to action in tomorrow's match. So Baptista into the match for Soccer Quebec as we approach the halftime whistle. We're in the 40th minute now, and restarting with the drop ball, Eric Greaves. Abigail White. Olivia Tapping. Tapping tries to turn inside. Cardoso under pressure. Nice turnover as Caron stepping back from Cardoso. And now controlled by Cesarba. D'Angelo picked off as Baptista with her first touch here in the match. Cardoso able to strip that away. Cardoso has it pinball back to her, but Stepping up was Dag, and she controls for Soccer Quebec. Caron trying to make the run. Thornton there to close it down, as we'll have 2 minutes of added time to be played here to close out the first half. Riel into the middle. Yu, she's closed from the front and back, makes the pass back to Riel. Vizioli, Brew. Pruel, she touches out wide for Chapados. Julia Yu controls. Closed down by Cardoso, but her touch one time by Chanel. And in the end, Soccer Quebec holds here with Baptista. Makes the pass to Caron. Baptista. Well, she's had a spark so far. There she takes a shot, and that one ultimately tracking wide. But providing some energy off the bench, Charlotte Baptista seeming to have some chemistry with Caron and creating that opportunity. Played out by Rye from the goal kick. D'Angelo. Baptista with the interception. Closed down by her numerical counterpart in D'Angelo, and now Topping comes away with it. That ball played out wide. Aird Greaves has time and space. She carries it forward. Aird Greaves, low cross in. Tesfaye tried to swipe at it for a shot. Brew there with the defensive tackle. Tesfaye continuing to battle. Brew, she knocks that one out. And that'll do it for the opening half. So despite chances for both teams, we end the first half scoreless. As you're tuned in to the girls under 15 series here at the 2024 Ontario Soccer Provincial Xcel Series.
Like in between indoor outdoor?
Test, test, test. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, well, yeah, for the most part, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, he did. He was great for sure.
Where'd you hold it?
The small arms building in Dixie.
Yeah, that's a nice play.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool building. It's got some history to it. It's pretty versatile space.
And close to home.
Well, not too bad, which is nice.
Yeah.
So it was good.
Yeah.
How have you been? What's new with you? All right, fans, let's get you ready for the second half kickoff here at the Under-15 Girls 2024 Provincial Xcel Showcase Series between Ontario Soccer and Quebec Soccer. And O'Neill's Sportswear have brought our new Provincial Xcel kits to life, proudly worn by our Team Ontario players this weekend. Each stitch, every detail, handcrafted with precision and passion. We're proud to partner with O'Neill's Sportswear, bringing our athletes the top quality gear they need to look and feel their best out on the pitch. For information on how your club can look their best, visit O'Neills.com. Martin Basil, the living legend, in the house. Is it even an Ontario soccer event if he's not here? It is, but he's always here, so. We get you set for the second half kickoff. It'll be Ontario Soccer kicking off left to right here as a quartet of substitutions made to begin the second half for Ontario. And we're underway as we're treated to an entertaining first half of action, and we'll be looking for more of the same here in the second. Maya Russell, one of the new players into the match for Team Ontario, as she takes that center back position, tries to play it ahead for Cardoso. Broken up and now controlled by Guerriere for Quebec. She comes into the match as a halftime substitute, as does Maxime Elisson, as she plays that ball forward, and running onto it is Chanel, closed down by the defender in Marissa Mackin. And it'll be played out by the Ontario keeper, Rai, on that back pass. Not exactly the ball. Ricochets around as now Aird Greaves takes possession and makes the pass ahead for Krishnathasen. Krishnathasen taking on the defender, but runs out of space, and it's out for a Quebec throw. As a nice job there by Maxime Elisson to provide the defensive presence. From the throw, Baptista battling for it. White heads it. Lanzalotta, she's charged there by Guerriere, who is able to come away with it. Trying to shield off the challenge here from Lanzalotta. Nice job by Guerriere as it's touched over to you, and now through the middle where Dag tries to push it forward. Chanel running onto it, but the defender there in Koromilos, as Faith Koromilos tries to carry it up the far flank. Eventually it's stripped away. And now loose through the midfield. Aird Greaves gets to it first. She's closed down immediately, but ends up coming away with possession. Yu tries to contain her. Herrera spins off the defender, tries to track into the attacking third. Aird Greaves controlling it. Good touch ahead now for Krishnathasen as her through ball knocked down in aerial battle as they try to get a touch, and in the end Brew with a half clearance, only as far as White, who plays that in towards the penalty area, who's dipping towards the 6-yard box and eventually knocked out by a defender. As stepping onto it is Koromilos. She tries to square up. Cross attempt, that's blocked. Tesfaye comes up with it. Lanzalotta tries to bait the defender in as Dag tries to stay with her. Tesfaye uses the overlap option, closed down by Chapados, and out for an Ontario throw-in. Had a shin pad pop out there, so the Quebec player will pop that back in, and we'll get back to the action. Tesfaye from the throw. Chapados once again out for an Ontario soccer throw. From the throw, controlled here by Herrera. Ends up giving up possession as it'll go all the way back to the keeper, Forcier. Elisson carries that forward. As through the midfield, it's controlled by Baptista. Finds the option out wide. Nice job by Visioli as she tries to play the ball forward for Guerriere, but it's knocked out, and it'll be a Soccer Quebec throw-in just past their own dugout. Sean Rosa, the head coach for this Soccer Quebec squad, as from the throw they played ahead for Riel. Riel closed down by the defender in the form of Russell. Nice job by Guerriere. Sidesteps the defender, takes the shot. And Rye there to make the save. Well, good chance for Micah Kim Guerriere, and forcing a save from the keeper, Rye. And arguably Soccer Quebec's best opportunity of the match so far. Ontario Soccer play it back to the keeper, Rye. She touches over to Russell. That long ball knocked down as Herrera trying to make a play here. Couple defenders on her. Now Cardoso steps out of some heavy traffic, only to have her pass knocked away by Bru. Controlled now by Koromilos as she plays it up the line, but a foul off that sequence and a free kick for Ontario Soccer. The wind dying down a little bit at the moment. And even with the wind moving towards the net that Ontario are shooting at, probably not enough here to try from this distance. And the defenders will try hold the top of the 18 to push an Ontario attack offside. Two-player wall sets up. Ball bounces into the penalty area. Running back to it is Lanzalata. And that should be a goal kick. And yes, called there off the foot of Lanzalata. It'll be possession to Quebec. Forcier gets set to take the goal kick. She'll keep it short. Tesfaye closing down the defender. Bru moves it out to the far touchline. Chapados. Nice ball up the flank for Deg, who then touches on for Chanel. Into the middle, running onto it, Riel. Heavy touch, it gets away from her, and now Mackin ends up giving it back to Riel. Riel trying to turn her, and ultimately a goal kick here for Ontario Soccer. No, nothing doing, nothing gained. 48th minute of play. 0-0 the score. Both teams generating good chances, though. Both keepers having to make some timely saves. Best save of the match, though, certainly came early in the match where Beatrice Forcier coming up with a huge save. Now Quebec charging into the penalty area. Appeals for a penalty kick, but nothing doing as Riel was tackled in a tight manner and deemed to be shoulder to shoulder in the eyes of the match official as Guerriere tries to get away from Abigail White. White plays it out, but it'll be a throw-in for Ontario as it was off of Guerriere. Abigail White tosses in, Aird Greaves as Krishnathasan played that one. Thurton. Actually, that might have been Tesfaye. It was Tesfaye who's tracked all the way back into a more defensive role. As Cardoso touches back for Abigail White. White uses Russell. As that's controlled by Mackin. Tesfaye looking for an option up the pitch and finds Herrera. Herrera has it, ricochet back to her. This time she plays it short for Krishnathasan. Cardoso under pressure. Baptista on her back along with Guerriere, and Guerriere comes away with it. Guerriere taking on defenders. She's trying to break free here for Soccer Quebec. Plays that one over to Riel. Tees up the shot. Closed down on the block. Danger still present as now getting the clearance is Russell. And working the far line is Koromilos. Koromilos on the run, trying to separate from the defender. Koromilos gives her a shove. There's a shot, and that one just out for a goal kick as end-to-end action here in the 50th minute. On what is turning in to be quite a match. Good chances at both ends. Guerriere had the one for Soccer Quebec, and Koromilos creating that opportunity for Ontario Soccer. Brew. As that's played forward, it'll be intercepted by Lanzalotta. She charges ahead into the attacking third. Forced wide, Brew closing her down. Lanzalotta, her pass picked off by Shapados, excuse me. As Tesfaye. Cardoso, now controlled by White. Cardoso. Nice job by Baptista, and now Guerriere, she plays that up the flank. Running onto it is Riel, but it's out of touch, and it'll be an Ontario throw. White, Cardoso. Finds the teammate there in Mackin. Tesfaye. Nice little 1-2 with Lanzalotta as Tesfaye volleys that forward. Too heavy a touch, so Brew's going to have time to run onto this as she plays it back to her keeper. Forcier under pressure. She makes a quick touch over to Ellison. Visioli has it stripped away. Nice job here by Aird Greaves as her low cross dealt with by the defender in Brew and cleared out for a throw. White with the throw. Krishnathasan battling but stripped away by Baptista. Cardoso. And now controlled through the midfield by Ontario Soccer. Well, both Toronto FC and the CPL are vital aspirational destinations along the talented pathway. TFC, through its TFC Academy, is a pinnacle club soccer destination for aspiring male professional players in our province. As that one dealt with by the defender, Cardoso steps up to it now for Ontario. That's passed off. Lanzalotta with the shot. Forcier with the save. The CPL is Canada's top-tier men's domestic professional league, represented in Ontario by its member clubs Forge FC, York United FC, and Atletico Ottawa. Provides important development opportunities for over 150 Canadian players, many of whom have come from Ontario. Of course, a big thank you to all our partners here this weekend. Mackin. Lanzalotta. Mackin. The two exchanged possession as urges from teammates to play it forward. Russell. White. There she delivers the ball ahead, but that's turned over. Ellison taking control. Cardoso gets it back for Ontario. Tries to switch that one to the far flank, but intercepted as I believe making the play there was Chanel. In the end, it's an Ontario throw at the half line. Tesfaye. Cardoso. Krishnathasan. She touches over to White. White steps back in. Lanzalotta with a player on her back. She dribbles back over before dishing it off to White. Guerriere providing the defensive pressure that forced White to go back. Now it's controlled by Mackin by way of the pass from Russell. Nice job here by Tesfaye. Ends up losing a step and the ball in the process as U takes it for Quebec. Guerriere, her touch advantage going here as check that was Riel. Guerriere, she comes back with it now for Quebec. She has her feet chopped out and a free kick here for Soccer Quebec. And a caution issued to Samantha Cardoso in the 55th minute.
Abby on the other side. Abby on the other side.
So a three-player wall here to defend the free kick for Ontario Soccer as it's Julia Yu standing over top of the ball, the lone player for Quebec. This is a good spot. She can go for target, or she can place something in. Yu tries to drill it right on net, one bounce, and in the end, an easy save for Rye. Ontario Soccer working it through the back line as Mackin plays over to Russell. White. Cardoso. She loses that battle, but a little clip on the back of her heels and a free kick for Ontario. Russell with the free kick. Lots of power, but no precision. That's out for a goal kick.
I'm not being funny. I just decided something about a possible but Diana was saying no push over either. But this is the other thing I'm lucky with my high school. I have no time. Yeah, they're not dirty, so they wouldn't play them, but they're definitely bigger.
Trio of subs here for Ontario.
The other half got in them, or they don't.
As Anaya Joseph will come into the match, along with Jay Alecki and Willow Baldry. Herrera, Lanzalotta, and Abigail White, the players coming out. Movement from the Ontario attackers before the goal kick taken, so we'll restart the restart. As Forcier plays it, and the referee keeping a sharp eye there. As Lecky tries to come away with it for Ontario, and now she has it. Lecky plays that ball between the two attacking options in Baldry and Aird Greaves, and in the end, on the defensive challenge by Brew, it's out for a corner. So it'll be an in-swinger to be taken here by Nalia Tesfaye. Tesfaye delivers the corner, headed away by you, and that ball on one hop goes over the fence. So we'll have to get a replacement ball into the match, and we'll try that corner all over again. Tesfaye once again setting up for the kick. In swinger, that's a good ball. Oh, big save by Forcier. She got, I think, her right leg to it to keep that out. That was curling and could have been a threat of an Olympico, but good save by Forcier. Cardoso. That ball intended for Tesfaye, but that's going to track out, and it'll be a throw-in for Quebec. Not far from the corner.
Yeah.
Ontario Soccer will get set to make a couple more substitutions momentarily. With the action on the pitch resuming, a battle ensues, and now Baptista comes away with it for Soccer Quebec. Good ball as Guerriere trying to run onto it, but Anaya Joseph there to close it down. Knocking it out of touch. We'll get the subs now for Ontario. As Isaiah Patterson will come in to replace Tesfaye, and it'll be Georgina Morrison coming in place of Talia Aird-Graves. Actually, Tesfaye stays in. Cardoso comes out along with Aird-Graves. That's an interesting sub. Cardoso has arguably been Ontario's top player today, being substituted out here in the 61st minute. Guerriere trying to control from the turf. She does well to fight through it, but takes a knock in the process. Vizioli plays into the middle. Baptista looking for a left-footed attempt, but that's broken up nicely. And coming away with it is Isaiah Patterson, just into the match. Patterson, her pass, great hustle from behind by Guerriere to get a block in. Baptista, she gets taken down, nothing doing. And now here goes Patterson. That ball on a bounce finds its way over to the keeper, Forcier, after it was intended for Baldry. Long ball will track out for an Ontario throw. It actually stays in on that effort from Maya Russell. She had no pressure, could have let it run out, but opted to keep it alive. And now Ontario work it up the far flank with Tesfaye on the ball. Pulls back into the middle for Russell. Controlled by Joseph. That ball intercepted. Guerriere tries to turn on Joseph, but that'll track out, and Ontario will take the throw. Anaya Joseph. Quick toss as it's controlled by Reese Krishnathasan. Krishnathasan has it stripped away by Julia Yu. Guerriere, Baptista. Baptista looking for an option, closed down there by Lecky, and it's out for a Soccer Quebec throw-in. Chiara Vizioli gets set to take the throw. Controlled by Guerriere. She turns into the middle, but her subsequent pass intended for Riel broken up. Patterson. Krishnathasan. Patterson. Good ball ahead, but a step offside was Willow Baldry, and that puts an end to the attack for Ontario Soccer. Well, both of these squads have played really good ball today. They've both created some quality opportunities, but we still remain deadlocked 0-0 here in the 63rd minute of action. And both teams working for that breakthrough tally. It might take a bit of luck, or it might take something special. Both goalkeepers have had some nice saves. As a foul committed that time by Georgina Morrison. Draws a quick word from the referee, and then a free kick for Soccer Quebec. But first, they're going to make a duo of subs as Frédéric Roberge will come into the match, as will Maxime Lesage Moussavou. Julia Yu comes out. She has been one of the top players today for Soccer Quebec. What a match she had through the midfield. She should be proud of her performance. And Auriel Chanel, the other player coming out of the match for Soccer Quebec, she had some great opportunities as well. Through the middle, Roberge touching that one out wide. They quickly draw back inside. Roberge makes the touch over to Baptista. Trying to pick out Riel. That's broken up. As Lecky turns for Ontario. Krishnathasan had it stripped away. Nice job by Gruyere. Gruyere, as it's Visioli who plays into the middle for Roberge. Stepping up, making that defensive play was Morrison. Lecky looking for an option up the line. She doesn't like it, so drops it to Tesfaye. And now it's back with Russell. Anaya Joseph. Under pressure, this could be dangerous, but nice job by Mackin to shed the pressure from Riel as she tried to create the turnover and quick break opportunity. Nice volley ahead by Roberge. It was held by Riel for a moment, and now they'll go all the way back to the keeper Forcier as she boots it out with her right foot, and it'll be picked up by Mackin. Joseph. Patterson. She's got Joseph making the run, but plays it inside while she went outside and turned over. Roberge can't get the space up the line, though, and now here goes Joseph. Anaya Joseph charging. Visioli, she plays it up the line. This is going to be a bang-bang play. Nice effort there by Guerriere. She not only comes away with it, draws the foul. That's got to be a caution there, as Marissa Mackin hauled her down, prevented the opportunity, and the yellow card comes out in the 66th minute. Rightfully so, as Marissa Mackin hauling down Guerriere, as Micah Kim Guerriere providing a steady offensive threat for Soccer Quebec since she's come into the match. So the free kick to come, as Ellison playing it, but the referee wasn't quite ready, so we'll have to do that again. Ellison once again teeing up the free kick. This time not quite the ball she would have wanted. In the end, out for a Soccer Quebec throw-in. Visioli. Guerriere. Stripped away by Joseph, but then she coughs it up. Controlled by Patterson. Under pressure from Baptista. She does well to dish it off to Krishnathasan. Krishnathasan nearly had her pocket picked, but controlled by Patterson. Baptista closing her. Mackin, quick touch. Krishnathasan unable to control it, and now Roberge takes it for Quebec. Stripped away by Mackin. Played back to Morrison. Tesfaye. Tesfaye trying to take the space in front of her. That ball out of the reach of Baldry. She continues to run after it, but commits the foul on Chapados, and it'll be a free kick for Soccer Quebec. Chapados staying down for the time being, and hopefully she's okay. She took a knock a little bit earlier in the match as well. And now the trainer will go out to assess the situation with Rachel Chapados. Well, we'll take this moment to remind you that today's Ontario-Quebec series is fueled by Gatorade. With a proven blend of carbs and electrolytes, Gatorade is scientifically formulated so you never stop competing. Some nice toughness shown there by Chapados, as she seems to be okay to continue on. She'll have to come off the pitch while the play is restarted, and then if she's good to continue, the match official will wave her back on. Just as he urges the Soccer Quebec squad to come back from their touchline and get ready to restart the action. And we will restart with a free kick here for Soccer Quebec after the foul that was committed on Chapados. So she's brought back in, and I believe that's Ellison getting set to take the free kick. It is, as she puts her right foot through the ball. Headed away by Morrison on the back line for Ontario. Mackin. Tesfaye. Headed there along the touchline, kept and controlled by Krishnathasan, who goes to Tesfaye. Well, good job by the Ontario coaching staff with their personnel. They originally, to start the second half, had Mackin as one of the two center backs. They've since pushed her into a midfielding role and put Morrison back there, and that back line looks a lot more steady with that combo of Maya Russell and Georgina Morrison. Brew making a good defensive header as Baldry tries to bring it down for Ontario. Takes the wild volley attempt as it'll be defended well and now controlled by Soccer Quebec as Guerriere is going to have room to run. She tries to cross that forward for Riel. It's broken up. And now Anaya Joseph, makes the play. Patterson carrying it, draws that one. Oh, big punch by Forcier to knock it over the bar and out for a corner. As Isaiah Patterson let it fly, initially looking like it was more meant to be a cross, but ultimately it was dipping on net. And a great save by Beatrice Forcier, one of her many today. Forcier certainly the biggest reason why this remains a scoreless match, having an impact really from the opening kickoff where Ontario generated the first good chance within the first 5 minutes. And even here now from the in-swinger corner, Forcier gets a hand to it to knock it clear. Great parry there by the keeper, Forcier. She is the player of the match so far as Ontario draw one back in, and there's Forcier off her line. Fearless goalkeeping as she takes the collision, and now taking a yellow card for her action is Willow Baldry. She just charged in. No regard there. And Forcier not only making the save, taking the contact, and will restart with a free kick off the caution. Couple of bang-bang plays here in the last few minutes as the intensity is starting to pick up. We're inside the final 10 minutes of the match as from the restart, Forcier plays it over to Ellison, over to Bruce. She's closed down, and that's out for an Ontario throw-in. Koromilos with the quick throw. Baldry unable to contain it. She really hasn't had the impact they would have hoped since putting her up in that striking position. Koromilos with the volley. It's tracking to the near post. Patterson battling. Shielding it away from Visioli. Nice job here by Anaya Joseph. Joseph, recognizing her teammate was offside, carried it in deep herself. And that's going to go out for a corner kick. So Ontario Soccer will get a corner here in the 73rd minute. Good to see Joey Lombardi down at field level, part of the NDC program. We got a player down, and it's the keeper, Forcier, as maybe still feeling some effects from that collision with Baldry. And hopefully Forcier is okay and able to continue on here, because without a doubt she has been the player of the match here, making some spectacular saves, preserving a 0-0 scoreline in this match in the under 15 girls division at the 2024 Provincial Xcel Showcase Series between Ontario Soccer and Soccer Quebec. We'll have one more match to broadcast today. It's the under 17 girls division. And then tomorrow we're back at it at 9 a.m. with the boys under 15 and the boys under 17 games that we'll cover tomorrow. Well, the reserve keeper for Quebec, Micah Prue, getting warmed up, and it looks like they're going to have to make a substitution here. So how about this for a turning point, as Prue will come into the match for Soccer Quebec. And Forcier unable to continue on. Man, tough break there, and we certainly hope a quick recovery for Beatrice Forcier, who comes out of this match with only 6 minutes remaining plus any added time. And Forcier certainly the player of the match, making a handful of spectacular saves. And this is a tough spot for Prue to take over the net. We'll see how she does. Don't envy this position. Battle for possession here. Guerriere unable to keep it away from Krishnathasen. She advances it up for Patterson. Patterson trying to test the new keeper. Crosses in, headed down, and there's a good save as Prue remains calm under pressure. The header coming from Willow Baldry. Maybe not the most threatening header. Didn't have a ton of power or purpose, but enough to put it on target, and Prue making her first save after coming in here as the E-Bug. Ball played ahead. Visioli. Baptista. Good job to clear it across the half line. Anaya Joseph under pressure coughs it up, and that's a throw-in for Soccer Quebec. Into the 77th minute of action. Time ticking away. Both teams still working for the opening tally as Joseph concedes the throw-in in her own defensive third. Forcier over to the Quebec bench now, and tough for her. You know she wanted to close this one out, but having to leave the match due to injury. Controlled now by Lecky. She looks to turn and create. Krishnathasen dealt with nicely by Roberge. Played back to Brew. Brew closed down quickly, nearly turned over, but Ellison there to take it for Quebec. Baptista with a nice dummy. Guerriere trying to spin off the defender in Joseph, and she does. Guerriere crosses that one in, as drawing it here is Dag. With a quick touch, that was controlled out wide by Chapados by way of Lesage Moussavu. Turned over as trying to make the play was Koromilos. Appeals for a free kick on that challenge, nothing doing. Dag with a quick touch ahead for Riel. Closed down by Lecky. Nice defensive work there by Lecky. As played ahead by Chapados. Misplayed by the defender. Guerriere trying to split the last two, but Morrison comes over to help out Anaya Joseph after they bail out the mistake from Russell. Controlled here by Patterson. Looking to switch to the far flank. Broken up. As controlled here by Mackin. Her through ball initially blocked out. Trying to turn is Baldry. She continues to challenge. Great effort to poke it ahead, but coming from the offside position was Patterson, and that will put an end to the threat for Ontario Soccer. Well, a couple folks who parked outside the lines, literally in illegal spots, are being warned, go move your cars or they're going to get towed. It's been that kind of day here. It's busy and it's a full parking lot as great spectators coming to check out the action here at the 2024 Provincial Xcel Showcase Series. Soccer Quebec trying to get something going here on the attacking side of half as it's controlled by Lesage Moussavu. She's closed down by Lecky. Lesage Moussavu playing it back. Chapados, her ball finds a way through to Riel. Takes the shot, and sprawling to make the save is Kaylee Rye. She hasn't had to make many saves here in the second half. That one nearly caught her flat-footed. It wasn't the prettiest save, but in the end she gets there to keep it out. She did have to make one other really quality save here in the half, though, with Quebec generating a couple of opportunities. But Ontario have had the bulk of the chances as a free kick conceded there on the tackle by Mackin. And Ellison gets set to take the kick for Soccer Quebec as we're into the 80th minute of play. Ellison playing it short, controlled by Riel. Mackin, Russell, Lecky under pressure. Russell over to Morrison. Morrison stops and draws back for Russell. Surveys the options up the pitch. That ball too heavy for Patterson as Ellison comes up with it. And now controlled as we'll have a minimum of 4 minutes of added time to be played here in the second half, as that ball off the foot of Florence Degg, too far for Maxime Lesage Moussavou, but she continues to work here against the defender, eventually committing a foul on the back of Tesfaye. And it'll be a free kick for Ontario. From the free kick, they work it back to the keeper, Rai, as Russell, Lecky, now over to Tesfaye. Stepping up is Chapados. She's there for the interception. Tesfaye. Morrison. Russell, really no sense of urgency, which you could hear the Ontario coach trying to urge them on. Morrison trying to play that one up for Koromilos. It's broken up. And now Quebec looking to create something on a quick turn. But there's Russell with the defensive volley. Koromilos comes back to control. Only for a minute as Chapados plays it ahead for Quebec. Nice job by Tesfaye. Crosses to the near flank where Patterson unable to get a good first touch. Guerriere comes up with it. Riel. Guerriere, she's got room to carry. Tried to hit Baptista with the pass. That's broken up. Baldry, who might have been coming from an offside position, and now the flag goes up. Bit of a late call there, but offside indeed the call, and that makes sense. She seemed to be a step ahead from where we were positioned, and in the end, nothing having there for Ontario. So from the restart, Anaya Joseph steps up to take control. Baptiste able to strip it away as Russell volleys that high, headed on by Mackin. Bruce steps forward and makes the play for Quebec. Chipped ahead, Riel trying to get the header on, but Russell steps up with the defensive effort. Approaching that final whistle, it'll take something to break this deadlock. Both these teams have played a well-fought match today. Guerriere. Mackin. Tracking out for a Quebec throw, but Guerriere gets to it first, and now she tries to create here. Working with speed, Anaya Joseph tracks her down. Guerriere shielding the ball. They get into a physical tete-a-tete, and in the end, a free kick awarded for Soccer Quebec on a great individual effort from Micah Kim Guerriere. So Guerriere will stay on the ball to take the free kick. A three-player wall sets up to defend.
Tallest on the post! Tallest on the post!
Soccer Quebec putting 6 players inside the penalty area to receive. And Baptista right on the edge. Now she'll track in to be the 7th attacking threat with Chapados just outside. Left-footed ball to the back post. Knocked around Who comes up with it? It's Tesfaye, and she gets the clearance for Ontario off the Guerriere free kick. Brew. They keep it short as... Oh, Coromilos strips it away, and this could be a 2-on-1 break. Coromilos just delaying the pass for Patterson, and in the end defended well by Ellison. I think Patterson would have been offside there. And now Quebec trying to speed up the far flank as that cross attempt from Lesage Moussavu turns out to be the final play of the match, and these two teams end this one with a scoreless draw.
Solid coaching job.
You get my white leg? I do.
So a really great match there, and in the end, as you get a look at the final match stats, neither team able to find a breakthrough. Tremendous goalkeeping, especially from Beatrice Forcier, the player of the match, who made the bulk of these saves on the 9 shots on target before she had to be subbed out and replaced by Micah Prue, who made a couple saves of her own. And make sure you stay tuned, because we're going to have a pitch side interview coming up with Ontario Soccer's own Ben Longo and one of the players from today's game.
You guys let me know when I'm good.
I think they should have interviewed assistant coach Cam Oliver, but that's just me.
Got it? I can't really see the stage. Yes, am I on? Am I on, yes?
We'll wait for Ben to get the player with him before we throw down to Ben, unless he just wants to fill some time. But really a great match here between both these squads.
Ben Longo at the Zankin
Let's throw it down to
Center.
Ben.
We just wrapped up game 2 of the U15 girls provincial match, a 0-0 draw. Stay tuned, we're going to have an interview with a player and a coach.
So once again, the final score of this match, 0-0 between Ontario Soccer and Soccer Quebec. We want to thank you all for tuning in, and of course, a big thank you to our broadcast partners as well. Special mentions here.
Yep, testing.
Just trying to draw
Testing.
up that script.
Anything?
As
Now,
Ben tries
now.
to secure the interview down at pitchside.
Hello.
As today's Provincial Xcel Showcase Ontario-Quebec series was fueled by Gatorade. With a proven blend of carbs and electrolytes, Gatorade is scientifically formulated so you never stop competing. Thank you again to our proud partners for today's event. Our premier partners, Toronto FC and the Canadian Premier League. These papers are just not agreeing with me today as I try to flip the page.
Testing. Hello. Ben Longo.
And our official apparel and equipment partners from O'Neill Sportswear and our program partners, Gatorade. Well, let's get ready to throw it down to
Maybe we're too
field
far.
level for
Okay.
Ben Longo.
Ben Longo at the Zankin Automotive Soccer Center. We just wrapped up the second game of the U15 provincial match against Ontario and Quebec. The teams played out to a 0-0 draw. Stay tuned. We're going to have an interview with a player and a coach momentarily. Perfect. So it'll probably be like 10:15. How was the audio? Okay.
Let me know, am I on focus on that? No, I'm focus, right?
Oh shit. I didn't get that yet. Do you want me to test again? Testing, testing. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not trying to get snaked. So I was walking around with that.
What's your name? Samantha. Nice game. What's that? Okay, okay. All right, ready to go. Sounds good. Go happy? Testing, testing. Ben Lungo here, back at the Zankin Automotive Soccer Center. I'm here with Ontario's player of the match, Samantha. Samantha, how do you think you guys did today?
I thought we played well. We had a lot of our chances going attacking, and we just needed to finish on the final third. But other than that, we played a really well match.
And how do you think you guys are going to do in match number 3, the third and deciding game?
I think we'll do well. If we finish our chances, we'll pull off the win and come out with 2 wins and a tie.
Awesome. And lastly, we just have a quick gift for Samantha, courtesy of our apparel partner, O'Neill's. Player of the match, Samantha. Here you go.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank